So, Shaq, if you want to see yourself, you can go to our website, and in a few days, your talk will be up, and you can see how you did. And anybody else that wants to can too. Shaq's title today is Love Your Neighbor. Shaq has quite a educational record here. He has a PhD from the University of Kansas, where he got with highest honors, I believe, in December of 2015. He was born in Turkey, and he began his higher education in foreign languages teaching, Black Sea Technical Institute, MA in Educational Studies from the University of Cincinnati, and another one in Communication and Leadership from Park University. He's involved with the Dialogue Institute, also known as the Movement of Global Warming of the Hearts.
It's my turn now.
Well, I'm not sure. Kyle, are we doing the meditation first or second?
The meditation is first.
All right. Check if you'll, and everybody else, just relax into your chairs. Sit as straight as you're comfortable. Let all the busyness that got you here this morning just ease away from your body. Let all the tensions drain out of you, relaxing all the muscle groups that you can feel, consciously becoming present, relaxed, open to the message we are about to receive. Opening our hearts and minds for the message, knowing that we are always better together. We focus on a world at peace, on a country at peace, on our state and our city at peace, and our little community at peace. Peace within our own families, peace in our own hearts, peace with ourselves. Peace, be still and know. And as you are calm and ready, open your eyes and rejoin us for Shaq's talk. Looks like we're just about all here. Our speaker is Eyyup Esen. Take it away.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Good morning. It's so exciting to meet you on a Sunday morning. I've been in the US for about 17 years. It was my dream, actually, to come to the US when I was a middle schooler because of basketball. As you might guess, Shaq comes from Shaquille O'Neal. I was waking up at 3 a.m. to watch his games. And when we found out that we are expecting a boy, actually the name Shaq didn't come to our mind first. And I just let my wife to choose whatever name she prefers. But while talking, so we agreed on Yusuf. And then she said she doesn't have any preference about the middle name. Then I was talking to my sisters and myself and then her. And somehow then we said, okay, let's add Shaq. But interestingly enough, when I Googled what Shaq means, it means handsome. And it comes from Arabic. Did you know that? The name Shaquille comes from Arabic, which I didn't know until 3 months ago. It's so funny and interesting. So I came to the US. So it was my dream to come to the US, but because of basketball. Years later, when I was at college, I had just decided to pursue master's and PhD. And I said, if I want to do that, I want to be in the top country. And US has the best educational opportunity with PhDs. That's how I ended up. And now it's been 17 years. And I'm gonna share my screen and use a PowerPoint that you can see. I guess everyone can see my screen now. So, and my original name, Job, translates as, or Eyyup translates as Job in the Bible. And here are my nicknames: Turkey Shaq, Baby Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal, and Golden State Warriors is my favorite team, but unfortunately they are not doing good anymore. My favorite players, Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry. And here is or used to be my favorite dessert. I am avoiding now, although I was a big fan of pecan pie, especially during Thanksgiving. I have lost about 70 pounds, so I'm avoiding sweets, but I still want to share share it. So I'm gonna share a few videos, but later probably. To me, I will talk about interfaith dialogue, significance of interfaith dialogue. But what I came to realize with the interfaith dialogue or any kind of dialogue, intercultural, interfaith dialogue, we do not really have to organize events to see that is a vital component of our life, or we should do it, we should learn about it. It is really part of our life. These pictures from my surgery, from my wife's surgery. The one in the middle, I don't know if you know, but the conflict between Armenians and Turkish history, like Ottomans, which are our ancestors, and also Armenian genocide. Not many people want to accept it, but unfortunately, it's a reality in the history. Yeah, I had to have a surgery at Mayo Clinic about 2.5 years ago, and out of all the doctors in the world, my doctor happened to be from Armenia. Can you believe that? Armenian American. So I was talking to my wife, our other doctor said you have to have a surgery and we can call the surgeon to have a meeting with you in an hour. We said, sure. And she came and she said, yeah, you have to have a surgery. And I was okay with that immediately because I had like multiple surgeries in my life. So that word doesn't scare me, but my wife was more hesitant. But I'm like, we are in the best hospital. Probably she is one of the best doctors in the world. So let it go. But she started smiling at us because we were using our hand gestures. Then we didn't directly want to ask like where she is from, but we said, do you speak, are you good at different foreign languages? She said, yeah. And she's originally Armenian. But that made me think, dialogue is part of our life. I am originally from Turkey. Out of all the doctors in the world, how in the world my doctor can be Armenian? That to me, it's a godly thing that God wants me to have dialogue with my doctor. And we became like family. Now we are expecting our boy, and we are planning to take our boy to Minnesota to see her. And the picture on the right is a Southern Baptist pastor. Until I met Southern Baptists, all the things I heard about Southern Baptists were negative. But it was true for Mormons, it was true for Catholics, Jews, whatever group you may name. And probably other people heard negative things about Muslims, my faith. And they came to hospital to visit us. And the one on the left side is a Methodist pastor that came before my wife's surgery and offered prayers. Spending a lot of time in Turkey, less exposure to people from diverse backgrounds in terms of religion, especially. We were also thought like Turks, kind of the superior nation. But after coming here, I heard about American ethnocentrism. I heard about Russians speaking highly about their own, ethnicity, and Arabs and everyone almost. But it never made sense to me since my childhood why like we can be superior to other people, because I don't choose to be a Turkish. I just was born there. So that really didn't make sense to me. But I think here is one of the talks I was able to find response. This is from the final sermon of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that all humankind is from Adam and Eve. An Arab has no superiority over a non-Arab, nor does a non-Arab have any superiority over an Arab. A white has no superiority over black, nor does a black have any superiority over a white, except by piety and good action. This is only, and this is something we still fight, right? Racism, inequality among men, women, races, nationalities, and whatnot. And this is actually, you can find a full speech online if you type Prophet Muhammad's final talk, or I can also email you. This talk talks about women's rights, human rights, anti-racism, and this talk, remember, was delivered about 14 centuries ago. And again, diversity is a divine will. In Islam, this is a direct quote from the Quran. Shall we get along? Why are we different? Or are we unique, really? I probably, I think, avoid the word different. I like the word unique because we are all unique in our own way. Here is a direct direct quote from the Quran. If God had so willed, God would surely have made you a single community, but God willed it otherwise, in order to test you by what he granted to you. By then with one another in doing good work. So it is more just let's do great work. Let's do good for the others and for ourselves. Sometimes, again, it is a fight between, different religions also. Are we the right one? Are they the wrong one? But let's try to do whatever our faith encourages us to do. And I don't think it is discrimination or it is a race. It is really collaboration. By the way, sometimes you see the word he referring to God, but it is in our mind or in Arabic language or in Turkish language, God does not, and also Islamic theology, God does not have a gender. Since this is translated, they use the word he, but it is not he. Just want to make it clear. Also, here it is, all humankind, surely we have created you from a single pair of male and female and made you into tribes and families so that you may know one another. Surely the noblest, most honorable of you in God's sight is the one best in piety, righteousness, and reverence for God. So and this kind of was a really a learning journey for me. To see people from diverse backgrounds living in peace in the US. Again, it's not the perfect country, maybe it's not the perfect, not everything is perfect, but at least it gives you an opportunity. You have the right to meet them or not. And all of my experience have been positive here, thankfully, except a couple of negative ones that I might share later, but let's not now. So here is what I can here are my words about US, living in the US. US can be pronounced us if you eliminate the dots. Yes, that's what the US meant to me, us. It was not you, them, and me, but US, US without dots. Or you could use those dots to connect people, just connect the dots. Yeah, you, I think, can feel that I love basketball. So who is the God? By the way, since I shared my screen fully, I don't see you. I don't see the, maybe I might see the chat box, but I don't see you at all. Yeah, I can see the chat box. But here is the question, who is the GOAT? This is a big, discussion in basketball. Who is the GOAT? Is it LeBron? Is it Michael Jordan? And everyone might have different opinions. But well, I would say, religions are not like sports. Sports, people fight, people, I don't know, debate on who is the GOAT, but it is not a fruitful discussion when it comes to religion, what religion is the GOAT. It is really just practice what we learn, and then let people decide or just live in harmony. We don't really have to choose a GOAT religion. Just once I was at a talk at a church, and I think either one, she was one of the board members or the, yeah, I don't know, maybe the staff, but she asked like, what, you all talk about peace and dialogue, but, our religions also fought and people, to kind of stay away from each other also. When do you think that fight among religions start? To me, I don't think there is a real date about it, but it is at a time when people stop practicing about their own faith. As you see, the title is Love Your Neighbor. I think all religions, all faith traditions would agree with that. But the practice, unfortunately, I'm not sure. In early 1990s, Serbians unfortunately killed. You may heard of like Bosnians, like thousands of Bosnians were killed. And this is just one example, and it's been going on for years. Even today's world, we still hear people are killing one another. But when it comes to the teachings, the foundational teachings of those religions, that's not what they teach. But again, unfortunately, the politics, the greed, I think play a big role. And people, unfortunately, do things that their religion doesn't recommend. Interfaith dialogue, and I have been with the Dialogue Institute for many years, actually. And what I like about Dialogue Institute, dialogue with anyone, anyone in the community, not necessarily faith traditions, faith communities. We have, which I will talk about it a little bit later, but relationship, interaction with, nonprofits, police departments, sheriff's offices, faith communities, universities, and so on. So the picture you see on the screen is Fethullah Gülen, the one on the left, is an Islamic scholar and who is the opinion leader of Dialogue Institute. He inspired almost millions of people to open schools, charity organizations, and dialogue institutes. And the local organization we have here is Dialogue Institute Kansas City. And you probably know the man on the right is Pope John Paul II. So when interfaith dialogue was not a thing in Turkey in early 1990s, the approach was more like we don't really have any friends in the world. So it was more a closed-minded community that the trust was not there. So he encouraged interfaith dialogue. He invited actually celebrities, faith leaders, including Jewish, Armenian, Greek Orthodox, Catholics, Protestants, uh, basketball players, soccer players, you name it. And he organized friendship dinners. And this is one picture from his meeting with Pope John Paul II. And the dialogue example in Turkey, that a mosque and a church next to each other. And also you would see a mosque, a church, and synagogue built next to each other, even about 100 years ago, which is during the collapse time of Ottomans. So that interfaith dialogue was a vital part of the culture. And these were real temples, so people could choose to go to whatever temple they wanted to worship. I don't know if you heard, but in Omaha, Nebraska, they now have Tri-Faith Initiative, where you would see a church, mosque, and a synagogue built on the same campus. And also in Berlin, Germany, they have this project called One House in Berlin. About 2 years ago, I was asked to do a retreat and practicum at St. Paul's School of Theology, where we got to invite speakers from Germany. A German priest and a Turkish Muslim imam were our guest speakers, as well as a priest, a pastor, and a imam. Actually, she was not imam, she was a religious leader, I would say, from the mosque in Nebraska, Omaha, Tri-Faith Initiative. So I don't know if you ever go to Omaha. I think that might be a good spot to, see. I will just kind of pass these slides a little bit faster because that's our topic is not Islam, but Islam as the word Islam meaning peace. But when we say peace, it is peace is in action, peace as a verb. Any relation, our relation with not just only God, other human beings, animals, basically anything in the universe. So that anything in the universe, that includes environment. When it comes to our relation with animals, we have to be kind. When it comes to our relation with the environment, we have to be protective. Animals, for example, during the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, when one of his companion friends called a horse by hand move, pretending, telling or implying that he has something to give. And Prophet asked, "Do you really have something in your hand?" He said, "Yes." And the Prophet responded, "If you didn't have anything in your hand, you would be among liars." So even with our relationship with animals, we have to keep our honesty. So I'm kind of skipping this more fast. I'm gonna move to the other slides. But elimination of stereotypes, I think, is a struggle for not just about Islam or Muslims, from any other faith or any other group. It doesn't have to be, even, my own experience. Um, uh, we used to organize trips to Turkey, and on a boat, we were traveling around Bosphorus in Istanbul, Bosphorus Bridge. Just I was talking to a guy that I'm like, wow, he sounds cool, and we talk about religion. He said Catholic, and I'm like, oh, but to me, everything I heard about Catholics were negative, and now I'm talking to this Catholic guy, and he sounds cool. I was on at the Panera on the plaza. I was talking to this guy, and we were talking about some interfaith projects that we can develop together. And then when I asked, like, he said he is Baptist. Like, when I said, "What kind of Baptist?" He said, "Southern Baptist." I was like, "Oh my gosh!" It was too negative. And my point is not really, oh, all of these groups are perfect, but it is really, actually, the word, even I think interfaith dialogue has a kind of language issue, that we refer to the dialogue among the members of those faiths. We are not really creating or trying to create a new religion that everyone should follow. So, and people are people. Everyone wants to be loved. Everyone wants to be accepted. Everyone loves courtesy, kindness. Those are universal language, no matter what ideological or faith views we may hold. And I will share some pictures about Dialogue Institute events. When I say about the events, I don't refer to just, okay, we had a great event, we had like 50 people, we had 100 people, and then go. It is more relational events. Say, even though we may have a event that had like 300 people, our goal is to maintain the friendship throughout the year. It's not like, okay, we had great turnout and bye. And these are pictures, by the way, the ones in the middle, my in-laws, are Indian friends and two American friends celebrating Eid, Islamic holiday. But when it is, Thanksgiving time or other religious holidays or national holidays, we also would like to be part of that. And the one on the left is also a family gathering. And this is from last year, that Shawnee Mission Park, I'm sure many of you been there, is some picture that from our celebration. We want to always include a lot of people. It is open to anyone. Everyone is welcomed. And sometimes home gathering, sometimes outdoors, sometimes in buildings, indoors. And so the one on the right, you see some small toys. Those are some gifts for the kids. So when I am asked, like, what is a typical day of a Muslim, I'm like, wow, that's a good question. I don't know if I do anything special or what I do is anything special, But I would say, definitely daily prayers, 5-time daily prayer is there. Those prayers, by the way, we refer to ritual prayers that we do regularly. But the prayer, so that is the ritual one. But also anything good we do during these prayers are also considered as worship to God. Say like, actually my daytime job, I work for Metropolitan Community College. So my job there is also considered as worship. Definitely, if I am doing my job, if I am kind to people around me, if I am helping my students, that is also kind of considered that worship. But also, let's say if someone needs a ride and I try to help that person, that is another form of worship or prayer. Um, being kind to people, definitely. This is, I think, a universal teaching and universal value. And remembering Allah throughout the day, God. Anything I do, I try to keep that. And this, like, daily prayer is to me like, I guess many of you also use smartphones. It's like the wireless connection to God. When I am not making my prayers, I feel like my internet is my connection to God is not working. It's like I cannot use all of the features of my iPhone if I am missing my prayers. Just the last, I think, few minutes talking about some of the Dialogue Institute initiatives that promotes diversity inclusion. Dialogue Institute is the nonprofit promoting peace, dialogue, and mutual understanding, inspired by Fethullah Gülen that I showed the picture at the beginning. And Friendship Dinner is our annual dialogue and friendship dinner. It's the signature event. And last year we had about close to 300 people at UMKC. It's been always. And you see U.S. attorney, judges, attorneys, sheriffs, people from sheriff's office, police departments, mayors, faith leaders. You see Kelly Sola, I think many of you know. Sophia Pandya was our speaker from California. And our speaker was a Jewish professor at Georgetown University. Don Bosco Center, my Indian friend. Actually, it's so funny. I'm going to meet him today in the afternoon. He lives in China now. And another friend from Jewish Community Relations Bureau. So we try to be as inclusive as possible. And these are building bridges dinners that we meet at our friends' home throughout the year. There is no special time, specific time, because every time is special to me. You see some of our dinner gatherings. Interfaith events, you see, this could be on anything, actually. We just talk to the group leaders and see what topic might be appealing to that group. And we try to involve the kids. Ramadan, this year we partnered with 29 organizations, including Nassim Atkins, Children's Mercy, KU Medical Hospital, Avila University, and many faith communities. And cookie classes is another tradition events. We have our advisory board actually consists 9 people, 2 Turkish people, Turkish Muslims, and 7 local people practicing different faiths. We always try to include locals in our advisory boards throughout the world, by the way. This is one example. Dialogue is just one organization, but we are active in 160 countries. I think my time is up. Wow. Thank you so much.